Loading. Loaded in.
Wicked.
Yo, guys. Welcome to the podcast with me, Tom, and Ben. How you doing, mate?
Good, thanks.
And today we've got Stephen again. We've got talk, and we've got the Man United agenda. We've got 3 guests this time. We had 2 last time, so maybe we'll get it 4 for the once one actually won the thing. How you guys doing?
Good, thank you.
Recovering.
I had a little tune in my head yesterday all day. And it was like, and I couldn't get it out of my head all day long. I had this really strange feeling, and you know what? It's because it's coming home. It's on its way, baby.
Brilliant.
It is coming out. This is being recorded on the Thursday. I thought best to record it on the Thursday, the day we upload, because England have just beaten Denmark in the semi-finals of the Euros, 2-1. Obviously, everyone's a bit chaotic. Everyone's seen going mad. Wembley went mad. Everyone went bits of Stephen's team going crazy. Talk going crazy. How you boys feeling?
And let's just say I'm literally clipping all the highlights now of us going mad, and trust me, that is going to be one hell of a highlight show. That is the highlight vid. That is.
I just can't control my passion when I'm watching either Man United or England. I just can't. And if I think we're being outdone by me, I'm gonna shout it out. So, you know what, I just got the feeling that they were trying to rob us. You know what I mean? After I had flashbacks to 2010 with Lampard's goal, and I was like, no man, I ain't having this. But you know what? Did it in the end.
I also feel I'm the same. Is that I don't like being cheated out of things. I don't like cheats. I don't like being cheated. And the way that was going, it really felt to me like they were trying their best to take it away from us. Right?
Listen.
So for me, right, after it, to be honest though, trust me, there's sometimes I wish I just wasn't a liver patient and I could have a drink afterwards. Because I wanted to.
But for me, it's England again. I thought the Lampard goal against Germany, I don't know if anyone of you guys remember it, that was a blatant goal. So I think this is justice. And with this young team now, the youngest team in the Euros ever for England, this is a great opportunity. They're not looking at what happened in Euro 96. They're not thinking about what happened in 1966. They're looking at the future here and now. And I think what Gareth Southgate has done is galvanize these youngsters from sort of when he was the under-18, under-17, under-18 coach, and almost mold them into what he's looking for now as an England manager. It's been fantastic. The ride has been fantastic. Bring on Italy. It's coming home.
Yeah, I want to add to that. I mean,
you feel the same as well, Ben?
Oh. No. I think you was talking. I'll let you finish.
Yeah.
The thing with for now for me with England is I don't fear Italy. I just think our team is better individually than Italy's. Italy have got some good players, but ours are younger and better. And if they go out there and just, you know, don't try too hard. I just hope now that Gareth Southgate says to them, look, you've earned the right now to go out there and just enjoy yourselves. Just go out, give them the formation, an attacking formation, and say, go out there and do your thing and just enjoy it. Because I think if he does that and releases that kind of extra pressure because of the final by giving too many instructions and too much of this, too much of that, we can go out there, we can beat Italy. I don't see why we can't beat Italy. I just don't see why we can't.
Can I go, or someone else want to go? Because I've got a few more to touch on too. Who wants to? Again, for me with Italy, the only thing I fear with Italy is throughout the tournament and the qualifying as well, they can use almost like 6 different formation. My concern for England going into the final is they would look at the weakest link within the England back line. And for us is going to be Kyle Walker, and it's also going to be Pickford. So for me, it's going to be one of those one where the defense have to come through and has to be a solid, and it's not going to be about individual, like Torquay was saying, we got individual brilliance. This has got to be a collective as a team to win this tournament, because this will be the only opportunity, I will say, for the next 20, 30 years we're going to have to win in this tournament.
I'd also add to that, that's why I feel we should play a back three. And we should do what we did against Germany.
Contain them, contain the pressure.
Match them for man and contain it.
It's going to be. I think it's going to be.
Do you think Italy will actually go for?
It's going to be a very, very close game. Either way, it's going to be a very, very close game. I think obviously, like you're saying, like obviously, like England have got the good quality young players, but Italy, as a team, I don't like that they just play so well as a team. Like it's it's a team sport. Like so.
Do you know what they say? They say like watching it, like I remember in 2006 watching the Champions League final is like the worst 90 minutes or 120 minutes, and even penalties by if it goes that far you'll ever watch in your life, right? That's because no one's experienced probably. I was at the hospital now, and I actually met someone who was born in 94, so he actually remembers 66. And I'm like, what was it like? Because like this is going to probably be the worst 90 minutes of our lives watching this game. This game is going to be so... I'm going to be so nervous. Tense. So I want to win it. I want to win it now. I want to win it.
I know what you're saying, Ben, about Italy.
So close.
Yeah, with being a team and all that. But look at England. This is the best we've been as a team as well since '66.
Oh, yeah.
Quite clearly, because we've got to the final. You know what? For me, we've only let in one goal, which was a free kick, which was not even a free kick anyway. And Pickford could have and maybe should have done a little bit better. They didn't score. No one scored against us from open play.
Yeah,
and you know what? I just think that we've got Italy's number. I really do think that, because we're not going to let them. We're not going to let them drag us all over the shop. What's his name? Phillips and Declan Rice are going to be like really important in this game, because they're going to be the ones who are going to close down, and everybody else. If he plays like we did against Germany, and we get up in their faces and we break that early play up, bang.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was why the relieving of yellow cards was so key in the semi-final.
Yeah, absolutely. Like what you call like? Yeah, we England played.
I'll talk on.
Sorry, Karen. Go on, Tom.
I was going to say, talk on Calvin Phillips. Do you think Henderson should start in the final from experience over maybe Calvin Phillips, or are you just sticking with those two because they've just been fantastic all tournament? Because obviously, experience comes with all that.
No, for me, I think they've earned the right to go into this final. So has Saka. I think Mount hasn't, to be fair, because he was okay, but he wasn't. Jack Grealish, for me, I think Jack Grealish deserves a start in that position, and everybody else stays in. And for me, I think they've got enough to deal with Italy. I really do, because you know what? If they try and target one of our, like you say, what people might say is one of our weaker sides, which is Kyle Walker, then we'll Calvin Phillips will know how to help pop down and help support that and identify that when that starts to happen, and even maybe go in at source when they actually attempt to get down that side. He will go in and break that up. So will Declan Rice on the other side, if that's the case. And I think for me, we've got the legs and the energy and the ability to really snuff them out early on.
And Tom, like what you're saying as well, with obviously with the experienced head of Dean Henderson, I think we've trialed it as England team's gone. As fans, we've accepted it, but I honestly don't believe we should be bringing players in just because they probably won a Champions League, they won 66 caps for England. I think right now, right here, these youngsters are they're hungry. They are hungry for it. And if you go back and look at Germany a few years ago, when Germany won the World Cup and the Euro Championship, they won it with youth. It wasn't about experience. So for me, I think right now, Southgate has been masterclass this whole tournament. What he done yesterday, I know I felt a bit for Jack Grealish, and I was swearing at the screen.
Talking point, Dan. I don't know.
Oh, he's gone.
He's gone.
Carry on.
Yeah. So with the whole thing with the experience, I honestly don't think, Ben, the experience, we should be worried about playing experienced players. Just play with the system we've got right now, and then bring on the Henderson of this world to then manage the game when we're 1-0, 2-0 up, 70th minute played, just to manage us out.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't don't try and fix something that isn't broken. But like just going back to what you're saying about, I was saying sort of Italy play good as a team, and obviously saying England play good as a team, and absolutely, that's right. But I think I do still think it'll be a close game, because I know you're saying England have the better quality players, but Italy, I think they have. I mean, maybe they don't have as many quality players, but they've got some top quality players themselves.
They've got an unbeaten run.
Yeah,
Is it 35 now, isn't it?
33.
33 games unbeaten under Mancini.
Yeah.
Listen, as good as Mancini is and as good as Italy have been, he cannot underestimate the threat that we pose, and he knows that. And he's going to have to make adjustments for that.
Yeah, we shouldn't underestimate the threat that Italy is. This is what I'm saying. Like,
I don't think
I think it's quite even.
We're not going to underestimate them at all. But again, like when we went into the Denmark game, when we went to the Ukraine game, and I said before that, England will go out there only concerned about what we've got to do, not what they are going to do or what they might do. You just be concerned with your formation and your role and what you have to do. And you do it to the best of your ability, and then you know what?
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I think that it was key as well that sort of, like you say, Rice and Phillips will be key to that game, because that midfield battle will probably decide it. Because Italy's midfield is cracking, like Verratti, Barella, Jorginho. Whoever wins that midfield battle will probably win the game.
Yeah.
So.
Also, really sorry about that. I've had to switch to my phone. My laptop clearly cannot handle StreamYard, so that's all right. What did I miss? I remember we were talking about the Hendo and Calvin Phillips situation when I left.
Yeah, I was just saying, I think we should just go with what we're going with at the moment and just bring on Henderson, sort of like the 70th minute if we're 1-0 up, just to basically shore up the actual team to make sure we can manage the game out rather than starting him. I think it would work more beneficial with us as England to take this to Italy. But like what Ben rightly say, we cannot write Italy off, because with Italy, they have got the players, they have got the team, they haven't gone unbeaten 33 games as a fluke. And what Mancini has done is massive, it's huge. Compared to what Italy normally sneak a 1-0 win, and because they managed the game years gone by. This time round, they're going up, they're winning 3-4-0.
However, Solo, look what he did. He made a mistake, in my opinion. And I did call it when we were watching the game against Spain, and I said, he's shot up too early, and Spain were unlucky, really, to get to get something out of that game. So you know what? It's mate. It's what I don't want to hear. Like I'm getting the mindset of is that we have to fear Italy, or that Italy are so much better than us, because there's no way they are, and there's no way that we are. I know what you're saying.
There's a fine line between being like, oh, I'm scared of Italy, and then being like, oh, we're going to smash them 5-0. You know what I mean?
No, I wouldn't say that. I'm not going to say, and I wouldn't say that we're going to smash them. No, not never. But what I will say is that I think we can deal. I think we can deal with them. And if if they score from a set piece, or whatever, it's so what? It's not such a big deal. We're not going to panic. That's another thing about our team, is we will not panic, and we will not let that sort of alter what our plan is and what we're doing. And you know what? I just think that I just believe it's our year. I just believe it. I really do. And the reason why, when I said I put England in the final, is because of what I'd seen in the games before the tournament started. I just seen something in that one game, especially in that Romania game, and I thought I've never seen this in an England team. And it was the way they were working together as a team and fighting for each other. And then when I looked at the individual players, what they've done in their careers, I was just like, wait a minute. I can't see another team really. If we go out and apply ourselves correctly, and the manager puts us out in the right shape, etc., I can't see many teams really coping with us, and that's been the case. Simple as that. Germany were flapped. Germany didn't know whether to stick or fucking twist. You know what I mean? They were like, shit, what do we do here? They didn't know whether to commit to go forward or not, and that was in the end that was their Achilles heel, because we got in their faces and stopped them building up play, and they didn't like it. And again, we do the same to Italy. What do they do then? They're going to try route one, because that won't work. Look at Harry Maguire; he's been an absolute beast. John Stones has been immense. Kyle Walker has been, to be fair, a really, 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 really top draw. Declan Rice. Declan Rice was amazing, man, last night. If we don't buy Declan Rice, Man United, I'm not going to be happy.
Again, talk.
That's all right, because he's coming to Chelsea.
Yeah,
no.
Talk. I'm going to sit there and I'm going to say to you, out of Declan Rice and Phillips, I'd prefer Phillips over Rice. I honestly would say that. I just think he's got more to his games than Rice, because listening to a couple of people who are West Ham fan, they don't believe he's actually had a good tournament.
What?
They don't actually believe he's got a good tournament. I've got a couple of West Ham friends who actually said he's not been that great. Phillips, the main person who is basically carrying that midfield with his legs.
I don't know.
To be honest with you, to me, I think both of them as a double pivot have been doing fantastic. I cannot sit there and fault one England player right now to say that they've had a bad tournament. I cannot fault one person. They have been stonewall. They've been absolutely amazing. They've been like warriors in this tournament.
I'll just say, for me, when you talk about, because not a lot of people understand the number 6 position and what attributes you need to play that position well. Declan Rice is full of the attributes that you need for that position. If anyone's ever played the game and has ever played in a game where you have that number 6 and you've been coached and you understand how the game works, then you watch Declan Rice and you're going to say, is he a good player or not? And you're going to say, a good player. He's quality because he does exactly what he's supposed to do. Declan Rice is there. He's like the safety net. And he goes up and breaks things up. He can carry the ball. He can make a pass. He's strong. You can't get him off the ball unless you foul him. He chases things down. He's top draw. I think he's had a marvellous tournament. I don't know what anybody else thinks.
Stephen, you got something to say?
Yeah, I mean, I can't.
Sorry, Stephen, before I jump off, I'm got to leave you guys here because I've got to jump off. My boss keeps messaging me. Sorry, guys. It's been a pleasure.
That's all right.
Thank you. We'll be back. I'll be back, I promise. Thank you. Thank you.
Speak to you soon.
Bye. Big up.
Like I said, I can't fault any player, and I wanted to just go back to. It's like I'm with talk. I'm not fearing Italy, but I know they can damage us badly and beat us badly if they wanted to. Right? If we've looked through this tournament, France have been knocked out. Why? Because they haven't been playing as a team. Right? Portugal have been knocked out. They don't play as a team. Germany have been knocked out. They're not what they are as a team. All the teams that have been playing well as a unit and playing well as a team have been getting through, have been making it far. Denmark, England, Italy, right? People wrote that. So many people have been writing Italy off from literally around 16 to now. When we said throughout the talk from the group stages, Talk said it first, and he was right. I jumped on it straight away because they looked impressive in the group stages. That they looked like the team that could go to the final, and over Belgium, absolutely, and because they play well as a team with a quality manager, and for me, it's people that will say, I'm confident that England can win, That's not a problem. The people are the ones who saying, "Oh, England's gonna win it. England's gonna win it," right? And just writing off Italy like that, right? Do it at your peril. Do it at your own peril, because if you go in there being overconfident, you are going to get your ass bitten. Simple as that. Just yes, we should be confident going into a game as big as this. We've earned the right to be there, right? But stop writing off Italy, for God's sake. Right? They are a dangerous team. There's a reason why they're 33 games unbeaten. Right? You can't just sit there and just go, "Oh, England's going to win it." And I know one person in particular in the chat keeps saying, "Oh, England's going to win it. England will beat Italy." And I told you this and all that. Hang on. You told us like Italy are not even getting to the final, mate. And we told you we're getting to a final, so didn't go there.
Would you say then, Stephen, possibly the best two teams in terms of actual teams have got to the final rather than individuals?
You could say.
Players with individuals.
Yeah, you could say. Actually, if you look at the draw, England have played well as a unit with that same sort of lineup throughout the whole tournament. Same with Italy, and it's like you said. I think the only other thing with England is that what's not just the weakness of, say, maybe with Carl Walker or Pickford, and that's fine. We could play maybe as we did against Germany. I ain't got a problem with that. I'm not moaning about any more Gareth Southgate lineups. Trust me, I'm doing it at my own peril now. I stuck to my word and said, right, if he got to his final, I'd say I'm Southgate in. So I'm Southgate in now. Done. But what I will say is that Italy, like I think someone just mentioned earlier, they've got multiple ways of playing. They've got multiple formation, multiple systems, multiple ways of going about it. We've at the minute got the back three, a 4-2-3-1, and then the sort of substitutes. All the substitutes you've been seeing, it's mainly when we want to make a goal, it's been Jack Grealish around about the 70th minute, 60th minute. There doesn't seem to be another. One is we need a plan C, just in case. You know?
We shouldn't need a plan C, though. We shouldn't need a plan.
Yeah,
Listen,
but you never know what Mancini could throw up, though.
One sec. It doesn't matter. Listen, when you play football, right, if you start worrying about what the opposition are doing, it takes your focus off what you're doing, right? And that's you're halfway to losing at that point if you do that. We need to just trust in the system that these boys are like to play and are used to playing, that has got us success. And don't be too concerned about what it'll do with the tactics wise, because we've got enough on that pitch to identify what it is they're doing and quickly adjust. We can adjust and break. We can get in their face. We've got the energy. Italy have not got as much energy as us, and their defence is aging. So we can definitely, run them ragged at the back. There's no doubt about
that. I agree with you. Like, you need to concentrate on what you're doing, but I think you can't just completely ignore what they're doing. Like, you have to have an awareness of it before the game, because if you don't, then you're going in blind.
Gareth Southgate Southgate and his coaching staff, right? They already know all about Italy. They already understand what Italy are going to do. They'll know what Italy's are capable of in terms of changing things up. And again, they will identify that and go through that with the team, with the players. That's what you do. You get told, this could be a problem here. You've got to keep your eye on that. If he switches position with him, you know what to do. That means he's trying to draw you out. Don't fall for it. You've got to hold your ground, stay in shape. All these kind of things, this is what happens. So this is what will happen with us, with England. They'll try and sort of do magic tricks on us, but we ain't going to fall for it. We're not, we're too, in my opinion, we're too good as a team and we're too good individually to fall for any kind of little, follow me a bit, follow me down this blind alley and then the ball gets played out and there's loads of space. No, we've got players with legs to go in and break and chase balls without us losing our shape too much, like Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice. We've got players who can challenge for balls and things, and without us losing our shape. Because again, if we did lose our shape against Italy, if they dragged us all over the place and they'd do those little quick passes, then we would be in trouble. But I don't see us falling for that, if I'm honest with you. I really don't. I think we're just going to, make it difficult for them, press them, make them make quick decisions, which they might not want to make. And when we get possession, in my opinion, this is one of the things that the only downside to that game last night was there was long moments in that game where I was saying, why just move the ball quicker? Just don't hold on to it. Just release the ball quicker and make more runs. We were a little bit sort of short on that front, in my opinion.
Yeah, and literally exactly on that point. Do you remember though that kind of last 3 minutes, the first two of those last 3 minutes at the end of extra time, where we held the ball one touch passing for 2 minutes straight.
Yeah,
and I was watching it. I thought that was unbelievable, and it's just kind of a shame we did that kind of the last 3 minutes of an 120-minute game. But
this is the thing, you see, we're capable of doing it, and that's what must give us confidence going into the final, because it's a one-off game. Decisions, bit of luck, good bounce. You know, we've got a chance. We've got just as much chance as Italy, in my opinion. And you know what? Like I say, whatever happens, I'm just over the moon already, because the world is going to now, since first time since '66, they're going to see England in a final, man. You know what I mean?
And not only is it a final, it's a final at Wembley.
Exactly, yeah. And this is another thing we've got the edge on Italy. And let me tell you this: my missus is half French, and she's got Italian in her as well. So it's difficult. You know, I've got to be careful what I say.
You'll be on your best behaviour now, ain't you?
Yeah.
After that last.
So
I will just say this: this is like when I woke up this morning, I didn't know whether to have any British or Danish bacon.
Yeah, I said that. I went to the garage. To put some air in my tyres, and I went to the garage, and I walked in the garage, and I went, bacon sandwich, anybody?
Do you know what? I throughout the tournament, I watched Denmark progress through and get to the semi-final, and the way they played against Wales, brilliant. Like, big up, Mike. He's so bitter. The way they played against the Czech Republic, brilliant. And then obviously get to us in the semi-final, and like the way they've responded with the whole Eriksen thing as well and everything, I thought brilliant. Like they're playing more as a team. They actually played more as a team than they were for the first 30 minutes of that game before Eriksen had his incident. So maybe if Eriksen didn't have his incident, maybe they may not have got to a semi-final, because they were not playing. They were focusing him as the main outlet, as such.
Yeah.
But you never know that. You never. That's ifs and buts and maybes. But
yeah, but you know what? You can't look back now.
I'm sorry. The way they played last night, and that referee, that guy should be lynched. He should be hung. Right? He should be hung to dry.
It was shocking. You know what? That referee he's only had 2 years' experience in the Eredivisie.
Yeah. Oh,
and he's managing he's managing a game of that magnitude. It's like, are you having a fucking laugh, you fuck it? Get a grip. And that's why I got the feeling that we were trying to rob us. When I heard that information, I was like, you what? I ain't having this. And I'll tell you something else. In this final, I want to see a referee who's got lots of experience, who's from South America, nowhere near Europe. I don't want a European referee. I want a referee who's nowhere near Europe. Do you know what I mean? Because
Ben, can you hear anything?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I just can't hear.
All right. Oh, I mean, yeah, no, I get what you mean. You want someone who's going to be as impartial as possible. But
who do you support, Ben? By the way,
City.
Man City.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, Sterling was quality, mate. It's been great for us, and I think Kyle Walker's been fantastic as well. To be fair.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, I'm really hoping he can take that his form for England back to City for next season.
Yeah. Well, I thought Walker's first game, I was very worried against Croatia, but I thought yesterday his covering. I mean, how quick he was for 120 minutes was bonkers.
It's sensational when you look at him. The engine that he's got and his pace. Like you said, there was a couple of times where Denmark, if it wouldn't have been for Kyle Walker, we'd have been open goal. Just had to beat Pickford. And as a forward, you know, or when you're playing football and you're coaching, if you're getting coached in that role, you know, it's always you have to think about what if that striker gets on the wrong side of you and leaves you and you're chasing him and you're facing your own goal, then the thing in that striker's mind is only all I've got to do now is beat the keeper. Whereas if you're in front of him or at the side of him, he has two things to consider, and that is you, and then okay, where am I going to go now for the goal? So he's got a problem, and that Kyle Walker did that sensationally. You know what I mean? And you give any forwards that kind of room, or you let them get on the wrong side of you, then they've only got the keeper to think about beating. You're stuffed, aren't you? Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You don't want that. But no, I'm pumped for this game, and it's coming home. It is. It's coming home, and I can just see. Yeah, it was going to be a great game, though. I think it's going to be a great game. I don't think it's going to be quite as chaotic as the Spain game, though, because obviously you got two teams there that were saying, "Look, we ain't going to sort of sit back here and wait for our moment. We're just bringing it to you." And
I can see it being a bit more cagey, definitely.
Oh yeah, it will be from our point of view. I think from our point of view, I don't think. I mean, this is the question we've got to ask: is so like talking about England. How is Mancini going to approach this game? What's his thought process going to be? Is he going to now start to think, shit? Wait a minute, we are now in the final. There's an opportunity for us. Is he going to alter his plan? Is he going to overthink it? You know?
Yeah,
I don't think Southgate has yet, though.
No, he's talking about Mancini.
Oh, Mancini. I don't think he would either.
No. I mean, Italy progressively through the tournament become more and more Italian as the tournament's gone on. So, like in the group stage, free flowing, free scoring, and then progressively in the knockout stage, you're kind of more and more Italian. Like they'll score a goal and then they'll be like content to sit back.
Yeah.
Is that not to do with the caliber of team they're playing against now, though?
I mean, in part, but like they just that's. I mean, it's.
This is the thing. Is what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at. Is here from Mancini's point of view is now he's looking at England and seeing, okay, I've got a team that nobody scored against in open play. When they scored one goal scored against them, he knows that our front line, whoever we bring on, is very, very dangerous indeed. We've got pace, we've got trickery, we've got skill. So he has to consider that now. Does he decide, okay, I'm going to put the onus on you, England. You come and break us down, and then we're going to just counter on you, or does he go like he did in the group stages, playing the open, 4-3-3 possession game, and try and ask us a question there? Because I think that he's going to play the counter. I don't think he will be in the final going to do that 4-3-3 against us because Rice and Phillips, like dynamos all over the place, breaking things down, and we put those three at the top to break things up and to get in their faces with the threat of, look, if you lose possession to us now, you know that we're going to break and we're going to be gone. There's a good chance we're going to threaten your goal. So there's a lot for him to consider.
The thing is, though, with how England play in a defensive way anyway, I always feel like when we're put under pressure and the other team has a large amount of possession is when we look our most vulnerable. Whereas when we're playing possession football and get countered, it's almost we prefer that compared to having the pressure put on us and having to defend for, like, say, 5 minutes straight. I don't know if anyone else agrees with that.
This is what Mancini needs to decide, isn't it? Because he's got to balance it between sort of taking the game to England, but also protecting his centre backs. Obviously, those centre backs are quality centre backs, but they are aging. So if we can get in behind them or get at them, they're going to be beating for pace every time. So
Yeah. Can you imagine Raheem Sterling? You know, it gets anywhere near the box, and Chiellini and Bonucci are like, shit, because you know you can't go anywhere near. You just cannot touch him. You know that's so dangerous. Or Harry Kane, to be fair. You know, Harry Kane's got. We know he can put that ball in the net when he really has to. We know he can do that.
Does turn like a freight train, though.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, but you know, and Saka. Let's not leave Saka out of this because he got us that first goal, which inevitably won us the game. So we have to big him up for that, even though he just played for a dead club.
He's keeping £100 million right winger
Hey,
out of the team.
Listen, you're going to see that £100 million right winger next season, mate. He's going to terrorise you.
He's going to terrorise him.
We're not talking about the Prem right now, mate. But anyway, so we've got threats. You know, whether it be Phil Foden, whether it be Saka, whether it be Grealish, whether it be Sterling, Kane, Calvert-Lewin. I don't think Calvert-Lewin's going to get a look in, to be honest. But you know what? If Kane gets an injury and we do have to change it and put a striker on, you know what? Who would you put on, Marcus Rashford or Calvert-Lewin as a striker?
That's a big decision for Southgate, isn't it? Because obviously, if you're putting Calvert-Lewin on, he's going to be up against Bonucci and Chiellini, who are very, very physical. Whereas if you put Rashford on, is that because you want to play a fluid front three? Which I think Spain did to an extent. Didn't do it well enough, but they could have punished Italy quite a few times with that fluid front three.
Yeah.
So, but I think actually on that fluid front three, what I quite like what Southgate's done in the last 2 games at least is actually having a fluid front four. Because obviously we were complaining about at the start of the tournament Kane dropping so deep and therefore leaving that 9 role completely open, empty. But what I think Southgate's kind of taught Mount, Sterling, Kane and Saka to do is one of those 3 that aren't Kane, when he drifts out wide, when Kane takes another person's position, that player then goes in that number 9 role. And I think it's actually worked quite well for us. I don't know if anyone's noticed that.
I've not noticed it too much because the game last night, whenever Kane was outside the box, there was no one in there. The reason we weren't crossing the ball, the reason we weren't trying to penetrate the box on the wings and trying to get people to trying to get people to cross balls in from the wings. Sorry, it's because there was no one there, so there was no one there to pass it to apart from pass it backwards or sideways.
I think that was also down to the fact that they had 3 very, very tall centre backs in that box every time.
I hear that, but when I did see them, there was like maybe one person on the far post, which was probably Saka if it was on the left, or Sterling if it was on the right. So if the Kane, who's supposed to be in the middle and be that target man to go to, was always on the edge of the box, and we're just like, what are you doing there? Just get in there.
No, that's what I'm not saying that
score goals.
I'm not saying that it's necessarily the right thing to do. I'm saying something Southgate, which I'm surprised because obviously I didn't think he was that good of a manager at first. I thought he was just quite a standard manager. Is he knows what Kane plays like, and he's trying his best to keep Kane involved in the game, and then still have someone. Because the amount of times that Kane has been dropping in lately, the last 2 games, and Mount's been in front of him, or Sterling's been in front of him. It's like with the Saka goal as well. Mount was in the middle, whilst then Saka did that curve run, and Kane could put it through to him. That's all I mean about that, and I'm surprised it's happening, which I'm impressed by at least.
Yeah, I hear that. I hear that definitely. I mean, I've been impressed with Southgate all tournament. I mean, you can't knock the guy at all. Right. I do want to mention one thing about it. I mean, Sterling. If it ain't Saka who got man of the match, it would have been Sterling. For me, maybe because it's maybe a bit of Arsenal biasry, but there you go. But for me, like Sterling was quality as well. Those people on Instagram as well can do one, right? You racist pricks.
Oh yeah, I saw
Right.
that thing.
Right. So what? Right. And I bet there's just one as funny as it's some of them they're actually their own accounts. Right? And they're actually like from the UK. He just got you into a final.
Mm.
Right. And yeah, so what if he dived? Right? After the first penalty claim, the only way we're gonna do is by falling on the floor. Yeah, that's the only way we're gonna get it. So because trying it the legitimate way didn't work. So to be honest, if they did that in the final, I couldn't give a toss. I really couldn't care. Right? It could be an own goal. It could be hit off off the manager could run on the pitch and have it hit off him. Right? It could hit off the referee. Right? It could have it off the post bar. Right? Own goal. No, you know, you name it. Right? Dive, penalty, whatever. Long as that ball crosses that line more times than Italy do it to us, I don't care.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Which is
right?
absolutely as it should be.
Right. Sometimes I've usually been like, I don't like I don't like winning in those sort of circumstances, but I'm sorry, with the amount of pain I've watched England, this is an exception.
Do you know what? The thing with the Harry Kane thing about being in the box and stuff, for me, it's what do you want? You know, do you want to put Harry Kane as the target man and leave a hole in the midfield, and then if you work something, it goes in, you get a shot, then you lose possession, and then they threaten to break on us, then we have to then start scarpering backwards, you know, or do you want him in there as that extra body, which enables us to do what we do? If you look at what we do when he does that, when he comes a little bit deeper and he's picking the ball up and passing, etc., it allows us to sustain the pressure and keep them penned in, and we wait for our opening and our moment, or by a free kick. So for me, it has its purpose and it works really well, because again, if you just put Harry Kane up alone in a 4-2-3-1, they're just gonna put two near him, or put one on him. They're most agile, and it's going to be difficult for him. Really going to be difficult for him, and he's going to end up, no doubt, fouling the defender, because, like you see, especially with Italy, their defenders are so clever. They know how to get their body shape in the correct positions, that if you make the wrong move, they're just going to go over and it's going to be a free kick Italy. And you're like, what? Hands up in the air. We see it loads of times happen. So for me, if he's more floating about in that midfield in front of the box, helping to sustain the attack and sort of recycle the ball, so to speak, then it provides more opportunities for overlaps. Luke Shaw, Sterling, Saka, Walker. We can recycle the ball back up to Declan Rice when Declan Rice is up there, being a recycler. So for me, I think that there will be opportunities for us to do that against Italy, but we'll have them sort of penned back, and they are going to seriously park that bus and then put Mancini's car next to it. So, do you know what I mean? Which will be a fear, by the way.
This is a good point to kind of lead on to what everyone's ideal formation, and I guess who's playing would by starting 11 would be. Talk as you were literally just talking about. Do you want to start with your desired formation and starting 11?
I'd go with what we did against Germany. Exactly the same. I would. Which was what? Was that the 3-4-3, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a 3-4-3. I would go for that and give the same instruction. We get in there, we get in their faces high up the pitch, try and null it at source, because what they're going to have to then try and nullify our midfield by just doing a long ball, because they're not going to. They can't outdo us in the midfield if we play a 3-4-3. They can't. I don't think they've got the numbers on us in the midfield. I don't think they'll be able to outdo us. simply we've got the agility, we've got the pace, we've got the engines in there to sustain that kind of, you know, attack, build up of attack from the midfield into the forward players, and with them taking up positions that Italy vacate in order to try and, you know, get the ball back to create something of their own. There we go. But for me, I think that will work a treat against them. But again, we just don't know what Italy are going to do. He might decide he's going to park the bus.
And if you park the bus, you probably want to play a 4-2-3-1, don't you?
If he parks the bus, yeah, just to and then we've got protection and numbers in the right positions. But if they don't park the bus and they want to try and play us, then I think a 3-4-3, because we can outdo them in the midfield with Harry Kane again, you know, dropping deeper to make the numbers up.
Cover Jorginho.
Declan Rice, Calvin Phillips, right there in front. I mean, it's going to be it'd be so difficult. Look how difficult it was for Denmark. You know, I know they got the free kick, but apart from that, what else did they create? Anything else really?
Most of their shots were outside the box, I think.
Yeah, so it was. They understand that they can't waste energy. The one thing you can't do in this game is waste energy needlessly. If you know there's a high possibility that this is not going to work, you're not going to get through there. Just don't, you know, conserve your energy, because again, it's down to game management. You've got to conserve your energy, and so there's a lot of things for Mancini to think about, in my opinion. I do believe he's going to play the counter on us. I think he's going to say, "Okay, then if you think you're good enough, come and break us down," and then he'll try and break us. I think that's what he'll try and do.
We can't play 3-4-3.
Say that again.
I would say if he's going to do that, he's not really play 3-4-3, but
no, we'll play 4-2-3-1 if he does that.
Yeah.
But again, we're not going to know what he's going to do. He's not going to signpost it to us and tell us. He's not going to go to Gareth Southgate and go, all right. So Gareth Southgate has to anticipate correctly and make his decision. This is the
problem, though, right? Like, I think this is also where they might have an advantage, right? They won't tell us. They won't know. We won't know about their lineup until it happens, right? Knowing England and their bloody media, they'll come out, oh, this is our leaked. Oh, it's been leaked about the starting lineup. So Mancini's going to go, oh, thank you, British media. I love you, right? And just set up exactly how we want them. You know what I mean? It's just like...
Could we not do a fake
bit like how the government's leaking all their crap at the minute. I mean, honestly, I've been talking about that today. He's like, honestly, like, you might as well just have an open book to all our enemies and said, this is how you get into Parliament and how you take over, right? It's like that. And how, Mancini, do you beat England? Well, you play this, and this, right?
What would your formation be, though, Stephen?
I would do
and start 11.
I'd do a 3-4-3 as well. I'd do Pickford, Maguire, Stones. That's a given.
Walker.
Walker. I'll put Walker on, all right? As a wing back. Does he work as a wing back?
No, he doesn't play as a wing back.
Who, Walker? He can do, but for England, he plays centre back, doesn't he?
Well, who works better than Trippier or Reece James? Then it's one out of the two.
I know he'll play Trippier, but obviously, I mean, Reece James just won the Champions League at right wing back, but you know.
Sometimes there's a bit of bias you there. So.
Yeah.
I'm literally all I've done there is state facts.
State facts, because of the direct correlation between winning the Champions League and then winning the Euros.
Or just playing well.
Look, I need him to win this game. This is the only time Arsenal are going to say champions of Europe. If you're English.
And only one player is involved.
I take it, right? We help. Everyone helps. Every little helps, as the Tesco say. right? So yeah, I played Trippier as a right wing back. I'm not sure about Mount though. Mount,
I mean, Trippier's not played badly, you see. So
No.
yeah,
Mm.
I don't think Tripp has played particularly bad. Mount for me would be the one I'd sacrifice in the midfield because I just nothing really was really seemed to be working for him in that
you
game.
see Tom,
It
you
was-
see Tom starting going like this. Right.
So for
Yeah.
me, it would be Rice and Phillips in the middle. That's a given. Saka will be on the right. I'd say he's going to play Sterling on the left, and Harry Kane's going to be up top. And if he doesn't play Kyle Walker in that back three, then play what he did against Germany. Play Tyrone Mings.
He played Walker against Germany.
Did he play Walker against Germany? I thought he also played Tyrone Mings, didn't he?
No.
No.
He brought
That's what I'm
Maguire.
saying. For me, the exact same setup that he did against Germany, for me, is, apart from, did he start Mount in that game?
No.
The Germany game?
He just come back from his isolation like the day before.
Yeah. So, you know what? Start
Mings
exactly
in that game.
like we did again in the Germany game. And it gives Italy a real problem in that, in my opinion. It really gives Italy a problem, whatever they choose to do. I think we've got enough in that formation to deal with it, because obviously it goes to a 5 when we're defending. So we're at a 5 when we're defending, then a 3 or even a 2 when we're not and we're attacking. We got a ball carrier in Harry Maguire who loves to do that because he's such a powerful unit. You cannot get too near him once he's in pace. Once he's in flow. You get too near him in flow, you're gonna have to just bring him down. Simple as that. Because you're not going to get him off the ball, and that's why he does it. Because it's a you're playing football. We've all played it, and you're there, and you see this big unit running towards you, and you're like, oh shit. What do? You can't just go flying in, because you're either going to bounce off him, it's just going to shove you off, or you're going to have to just stick your legs in and tackle him, and give away a free kick. So for me, we've got enough to do with this team, this Italy team. Yeah, okay, I know. I agree with Ben 100%. It's going to be a tough game. There's going to be moments in it where we're going to be like, shit. But it's going to be the same for Italy. There's going to be moments that's going to be tough for them as well. Yeah. It's not going to be a one-way ticket, this, or a one-way easy ride for Italy to dominate the game and have us under constant pressure or anything like that. No way, because he has to consider our threats, and also the fact, like I keep saying, that we haven't conceded a goal from open play. That must be a concern for you as an opposing manager, because you're thinking, shit, you've gone all the way through this tournament, you've let in 1 goal from a free kick, you stingy bastards. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, crap, okay.
The superstitious person in me then says, are we due an open play goal to concede? Like, that's the superstitious in me.
If it does, if we do, but we still win the game, even if we win it like 4-3 or 3-2, I don't care what the scoreline is, as long as we win it in 90 minutes and it doesn't go to penalties, because I could not in a final, I could not watch a penalty shootout. I'd have to go out.
My heart would just be in my mouth the whole time.
I wouldn't be able to handle it. I could hardly handle the one last night from Harry Kane. I had a tea towel wrapped around my hands, right?
Sorry.
I was pulling it and clenching it so tight because I was like, oh. And I was actually saying, I don't know if I can watch this. And one is, at one point I was on my knees, then like with my arms lent on the couch, looking away from the telly. And I'm like, oh God, what do I do? Do I watch it or don't I? And in the end I thought, okay, just watch it. So I'm sat here with this fucking tea towel holding it like, Rrr. And when I seen Schmeichel dive down and everything just sort of slowed down, and it sort of went into him, I was like, Rrr. If you'd have seen it in slow motion and the reaction from when he scored after on the rebound, it's like shit, But yeah, man, it's going to be. Do you know what I'm stoked about the most? It's just the fact that we're Sunday night, usually
fucking in it
on a Sunday night, we're going, yes, fucking World Cup final or the Euros final, and you're like, yeah, it's Germany, France, or fucking Portugal, whoever.
Yeah.
But this time, it's like we're watching the final on Sunday night, but it's England.
Yeah. Well, I start my new
England,
job the next day as well,
England.
which is brilliant.
Oh, on Monday.
Yeah, I
Start
start
your
my
job on
job,
Monday?
new job the next day.
What do you do? What job is it?
Maintenance. I'm moving stuff and all that kind of thing. So
Nice.
I'm going to be very hungover probably.
Yes.
Ben, what's your ideal formation and starting 11?
I don't really mind either, to be honest. If it wins the game, then doesn't matter, does it? If they play well, then shouldn't matter. But like I say, it depends how Italy set up, but they won't know that until they've actually started in the game. But the like it's what I said before. If it ain't broken, don't try and fix it. So
Yeah.
just with the players that have been performing for him throughout this tournament.
4-2-3-1.
But that's kind of why I want to actually just say keep the same team as last game.
Yeah, well, continuity does help players.
Because literally the only change that's happened since the quarters to the semis was Sancho for Saka. And so therefore, and even though Denmark played 5 at the back, like Germany did, Southgate still played a 4 at the back, and I guess it worked. So I'm tempted just to keep the same team and formation.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that.
Because also,
go on. Sorry. And also sort of, I mean, I guess it's tournament football, so continuity doesn't matter as much, but players prefer it when they got the same, they're in the same position, the same patterns of play, same sort of same partner they've got behind them. They love that.
Yeah, that's the thing, innit? When you're playing it, when you're playing the game, this is what I would. You know what? It's funny to say that, Ben, right? Because that's what I was getting at when I was talking about Liverpool and all the rest of it, when they were doing what they're doing and when they collapsed, and everybody was talking about it's a mentality thing, and I was like, don't talk out your ass mentality. Look what they've just won in the short space they've won it, and you're telling me the mentality's just gone out the window. Talk shit. That was a confidence issue because of exactly what you've just said. When you're playing football, you've been so successful having, whoever's covering you and you're behind you or in front of you, and that then suddenly changes. It's a big thing. It's a big deal. And again, for England, I 100% agree with what you're saying. The continuity, the confidence that the team has in each other as individuals, knowing that, listen, I know you've got my back. I know you're going to cover me. I know you're going to work hard for me. There's none of this kind of jealousy thing going on anymore in this England team, which Gareth Southgate has to be credited for massively as well. He's getting rid of that rivalry shit between clubs, players from different clubs. He's sorted that out, I think, in 2018. That was when he did that. And he's carried that forward into this competition, and we can see it, the way they just work for each other and fight for each other. And when, you know what? Yeah, I agree. Just stick with what we've just done, maybe then in this last game, and trust to that. And again, for Southgate to say, you know what, the players who have won that game and been consistent, you've earned the right to play in the final. That includes Mason Mount. That includes Saka. And if at half time we need to sort of freshen it up for whatever reason, then do so. But no, I agree with that. I think that's probably would be a sensible option for Gareth Southgate to explore.
Yeah, and also kind of, I've looked at the Italian teams during the tournament, and most of the time they play 3 in the midfield. And I know for a fact, I'm going to be very English here, that if we played the midfield 3 we played yesterday, they will outwork all 3 of those Italian players. They will make sure that they're working their asses off to make sure that they get to every ball first, kind of pressing, tackling. Jorginho, I'm obviously a Chelsea fan, so I watch him all the time. When he's put under loads of pressure all the time, that's when he falters.
Yeah, he don't like it.
When he's playing what I always say as a Chelsea fan, Jorginho's fantastic against a bad team when he's got loads of time on the ball. But when he's up against a team like, I guess, with the 5 at the back, it's helped him. And he's got Kanto obviously next to him, so it's pretty easy when you're against Man City. But against most better
It's all right
teams,
when you play 7 at the back, isn't it?
when you play most teams, and he's pressured, and he's playing in the middle of a 3, he struggles. So therefore, playing our midfield 3, who are all young, relatively quick, and will just work for 90 to 120 minutes, then I don't see why not keep it the same.
Yeah.
That's fair. Should we move on to some transfer news and topics?
Yeah, it's going to be lovely when Kane and Grealish playing for City next year. So.
Yeah. I was watching
Can you do me a favour? Can you sign Kane a few days before the final, please? You become the 93rd player to leave Spurs and win a trophy.
Yes. I was going to start
wait to the end of next season.
with unfortunately United, obviously signing Sancho, links with Camavinga. PSG have actually contacted Paul Pogba. What do you, as a United fan, think about all those things?
Camavinga, he's got good stats, good numbers. Yeah, he's an option. He's definitely an option that we could explore further for the right kind of money. The Pogba situation, as I call it, I think, for me, to be honest with you, I think it's time for him to move on. I think it's just time for him to take a look at a different league. He's just not suited to, as we know, better people than me have said it, and I agree. He's not suited to playing in the 2. He's not got the work rate or sprint to carry it off. So, you know what? I want Ollie to make the decision, though. I want Ollie to be the one to say, no, look, this has been tried and it's failed, and I'm not going to pursue it any further. We're going to change things up, you know. And in terms of, did you mention Varane?
I didn't mention Varane, but obviously, yeah, that's a big topic.
Yeah, the Varane deal. I've heard tell that they're not going to pay. We're not willing to pay the 40 mil. Apparently.
What? You're not willing to pay 40 mil for Rafael Varane?
Yeah, I know. I was like thinking, wait a minute, this is either fake news or Man United are seriously like.
It's the same with Trippier, isn't it? Trippier, they could get him for 40 mil, but they won't pay that.
Well, I mean, that position for us, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say that was the biggest issue that we've got, to be fair. It's that number 6 role and a centre-back now. That's what we need to get sorted big time. And for me, go all out for Declan Rice. Put that money in front of him, see if he'll take it. If he doesn't, fair enough, move on. Go and get Camavinga. Camavinga's played at that in the number 6 role. He can do it. So, and then Paul Pogba, this is the problem for us at United is where the fucking hell do we stand with him? What does he want? Is he going to commit to the club? If he's going to commit to the club and say, look, I'm going to work harder, to fit into this squad better and listen to the coaching, maybe even again, that's an issue in itself. The coaching stuff are not good enough. But anyway, apart from that, you know what? Yeah, if Pogba comes out and says, no, listen, I want to stay, I want to fight for this club, I want to win stuff, and I'm also going to, work harder for the team. In other words, get your ass back and help out. Then, you know what? Yeah, maybe it's worth giving him another shot if that is the case. But if it's a case of, look, try and convince me to stay by offering me shed loads of money, bollocks. No, I ain't interested in that, mate. No chance. Why should we convince you to stay by giving you like a ridiculous amount of money each week for you to then just be like, turning up every other game, putting out like a couple of good passes in and then running around for the rest of it, doing absolutely cock all. No. Sorry, mate. Been there, done that. I've got the T-shirts and I've got the mental scars, mate. Don't want it. You know what I mean? So for me, if this all turns out that Pogba's leaving, then yeah, just let him go and then we'll bring in somebody else. I'll give somebody else a chance. If we're keeping all the Van de Beek, you've just got to slip him straight in there and say, right, now's your moment, mate. Give it your best shot. If you can't, because we let Pogba go and we move him on. Who else is there to step up into that role apart from Donny van der Beek? We ain't going to bring Lingard back to take up that role because he's not good enough. He's already proved that.
Yeah.
When you also get loads of money from selling Pogba?
Well, I don't know about loads. It's what can they afford? This is because the thing is that the problem he's got for himself is that he's on an exceptional amount of money already at Old Trafford. His agent is going to want a huge cut of any kind of fee and deal. So they've not only got to find the actual fee we want, they've got to then find the agent's fees. You've got to find his wages, his image rights deals, his bonus deals, his golden handshake. You've signed on for us. There's 5, 7, or whatever million in the bank for you straight off the bat. Because that happens. We know that happens. That's why you see the players when they're sat there signing their contracts. I was going to say certificate then. Right, they're signing their contract and they're sat there with a big smile on their face because as soon as they put that nib on that paper, they're instant multimillionaires again because of their signing on fee. Round the back doors, all these little shady things go on. And I know that's true because I've heard it from an ex-Man United player who's no longer there but has moved on to the Championship. And this goes on. And that's why you're so desperate to make it at such big clubs like Man United and Chelsea and City because you get into that first squad, that first team squad and get a really good deal. As soon as you sign it, you're set for life. You're set for life. Or you go on to another club in a really big deal. You are set. Like when Raheem Sterling went to Manchester City. You know what? He was set. That deal just set him big time. Jadon Sancho already earning a decent amount of money anyway, but now he's come to Man United. He's set for life with what he's just earned out of that, signing that contract. You know what I mean? So, but again, for the Man United front, I think the coaching is an issue. It's not good enough. I mean, you can't tell me that Kieran McKenna and Michael Carrick are good enough coaches to manage to coach a team, right? That has done what we've done in the Premier League and in Europe and everything else, and expect it to carry on after Fergie's left when you've had other coaches in there who are like, they're not even like, they're just stratospheres away from Michael Carrick and McKenna. They're still learning. This is not the time or club to be learning how to coach really good players. Again, we've been, as Man United players, fans, Fred has been getting a really hard time. And in most cases, rightly so, because he's just not been good enough. And we demand more. Now, it may turn out to be a case of that's just a coaching issue. If he goes to another club under a different coach and then starts to flourish and does really well, you got to question, all right, I said it about Jesse Lingard when he went to West Ham. I said, yeah, he's gone to West Ham and he's shining now. That's just because all the kind of bravado and arrogance that he's picked up while being at Man United, he's still got that, but he hasn't got the pressure now. So he feels free. He's been, he's not restricted. It's either that, or there could be also an element of the coaching at West Ham under David Moyes with his coaching staff.
Found out about what your last night.
Say that again.
Threatening the arresting you for threatening the referee.
Yeah, I did say besides transfers, United really wanted to challenge him, then they could. This is if you had unlimited money and like sort of every player would come. I mean, but even then, I was like, you could go out, get a defender, that's Varane, get a holding midfielder, that's Camavinga, get Sancho, and then get a striker. And striker, was the one that you don't really need because you still got Cavani for a season. But you talked with Varane and Camavinga, that'll be a good transfer window. But like I say, you might not be willing to spend the money on Varane at the moment. So, but
well, they've got to, mate. They've got to if they are serious, the owners or whoever it is who's trying to convince the owners. Because at the end of the day, this is another thing you have to bear in mind. They're like the Glazers have no idea about football whatsoever. They couldn't tell you who's the best player. Everybody, I hate it when people say, "Oh, the Glazers." The Glazers won't allow it because they don't think he's good enough. You think, what are you talking about? They don't know fuck all about football. Don't talk out your ass, mate. Don't talk stupid. Dude, what do you think what Ed Woodward's job is and the people below him? That's his job. To go to the owners and say, can you clear these transfer funds? Because we've got identified this player and that player, and it's going to cost this much. They then put the trust in him and the people around him and under him to make that decision of investing the money wisely, which in most cases he hasn't done. That's why he's on his bike soon. Get out and let somebody else have a go because you're shit. Okay, so for me, I think the Glazers they put the money up. It's like, right, okay, look, well, you're telling us that we need to buy players if we want to be, success, and also if we want to keep the sponsors happy. We lose our big sponsors, we're in shit. We're already in debt. The club's still in debt. The Glazers know that. They put we've been
not in debt.
We've made ourselves like worth except like whatever it is, 4 billion. Who's going to buy us for that kind of money right now? I don't see it unless
6 billion, don't they?
Unless the Qatari royal family come in, and buy it.
Sorry, but they want to sell the club, but if they want, I've heard if they're going to sell the club, they want to sell it for 6 million.
Well, whatever then. Well, whatever.
I think it's us that want 3 to 4. And
well,
like 3 to 4, we're in
Still
8.
bonkers numbers.
It is bonkers numbers, man. And but the Glazers understand that they, as a business model, you have to feed, you have to keep the business going, and the people who are backing you are interested. You can't just be thinking, oh, no, we'll be all right with just getting top 4 again, because their sponsors ain't interested in that. They want the reason why they come to us as Man United and say, please let us sponsor you and give you 300 million a year, Adidas, is because everybody loves watching Man United, and because they do well and they play great football. Once that starts to wane, and they're not really talking about Manchester United that much, that's not what they want. And there's already rumblings that they're not happy. Some of these big sponsors, we can't lose them. So if they want to keep that money income, going, they've got to dig deep without actually putting us in more debt if they can possibly manage it.
Fair enough. I mean, I personally wouldn't say I enjoy watching Manchester United, but I completely get where you're coming from.
Yeah, it's
I
not
do completely get where you're coming from.
There's lots of games in last season, especially like where you're watching and you start thinking, what the fuck am I watching here? Is this the B team or something? Yeah. Like it were just trying to learn from the coaching staff of what you're supposed to do when you get in the final third. It's like, all right, what do? I'm going to look over there now. Oh, and then you go, wait a minute.
You did come second, though.
Well, we did. But I mean, it's Man United we're talking about. And listen, don't get me wrong when I talk about Man United and start bigging us up. The only reason I big us up is because what we've won and how we dominated the league, and I've got the right to do so because of that. Simple as that. And we've never been given money by anybody. We've always been put in fucking debt, and what players we've bought, we've done with prize money and the money that the Glazers got in with the debt that they created. So we've never been swamped with money, but we went on and dominated like we did for such a long time. And then the wheels fell off when Fergie left. But you know what? That was always going to happen. Just the same with Arsenal. As soon as Wenger went soft on his team, which I saw in you're talking like 2000 and hold on a second, 7, 8. It's about, and for me it was about 08, 09 when it all started to go soft. Sorry, when he started to really get soft, and then the players were just then becoming like, getting bored with it and just stop trying. 07, 08, yeah. So we're around about that time.
And then again, it really started when we moved into the stadium.
Well, that was a big problem for Arsenal because we all said at the time, look, whoa, how much to build a fucking stadium? How much was it? 400 mil?
Yeah, but then you all say that, but then Tottenham was supposed to be learning less money than us. Have been able to do it and still spend money. So what they've been saying about we have to do it because of the stadium is all bullshit. It's just been lies to just make us not spend money. It's an excuse.
Well, listen, I am just so glad that our situation at United isn't as complicated as Arsenal's, because the Arsenal situation is a real mess. It's a real mess from what I've heard and listened to off Stephen and other Arsenal fans. So for us, it's a bit more straightforward for us with Glazers. The simple fact is they've got this huge club on their hands that they could sell. However, it's just become a victim of its own success and become too valuable to sell because who's going to buy it for that kind of money? 5.5 or 6 bill. You know what I mean? It's like, so what do we do then? And they haven't got the money to sustain it out of their own pockets, really. They're not like Abramovich or like City's owners. They haven't got that kind of money. And listen, don't get me wrong. I never have had a dig at City or Chelsea for the money because I've always said money gives you an advantage, but it ain't the answer. It doesn't buy anything. Because look at Man City when he was with was it Pellegrini? Under Pellegrini, you know.
What happened?
That's
with
what a
Pellegrini?
big club does. They
No, you didn't win anything, did you?
Oh no, it was Pellegrini. We did. It was the money first came in, and it was Mark Hughes who was in charge then, and it was absolute trash.
Yeah, but and then with like Mancini, you just about got the Prem by a fucking hell that day. I remember that day.
still a lovely day, that one.
It wasn't a lovely day. I was sat. Yeah, listen to this. I'll tell you. I was sat with my mate who's a Liverpool fan, right? And he's sat there, and he's saying, "You fucking jammy stuffy bastards! You fucking won it." And I was like, "No, man, Johnny, man, no." I was like, "No, it's not." Anyway, as we were talking, it's showing you the fucking images of a United finishing, and then when he seen that, he was like, that's it. It's the whistle's going to go any second. You've got it." And I was like, "Shut up, fucking shut up." I said, no, not while this game's going on. And I remember we talking about that. The ball goes into, what's his name? Always me. Why always me? Balotelli.
Oh, Balotelli, yeah.
Goes into Balotelli, and then when he goes in and actually gets the ball out and it squirts out to Aguero, when Aguero picked the ball up, my heart literally stopped beating. And I knew, as soon as he picked that ball up, I knew he was going to score. And I just put my head in my hands like this, and my mate was like, and then you should have heard him when they scored, laughing. I had to leave. I was gone. I was gone. I was like, "Nah, stay
I'll tell you what, and the fact that I remember that day because I was stuck in a hospital at the time, and I was on the children's ward. Back then, I was about 18, something like that. I was like getting towards the end of my time there on the children's ward on King's, and it's a specialist liver centre, and this play area is like all the way down the other end, where the kids that are coming to visit don't have somewhere to play. And I was sitting in the parents' room, which is just literally around the corner from there, like watching the Football Focus because I need to keep an eye on Arsenal finishing third. So we knew Chelsea were in the Champions League final. And back then, if you didn't qualify third, and obviously Chelsea won the Champions League, whoever's in fourth got knocked to the Europa League. It didn't get counted in. So whilst I'm trying to watch us trying to make sure that the score's staying as it is, I'm hearing all this commotion outside. And what the fathers have done, they've chucked all the kids out of the play area and turned the fucking TV into a place to watch the football. So as I'm watching this, I'm flicking because they've got Sky Sports and Sky Sports 1 and 2. They've got both games on. And they're flicking in between. And then you got Man United scoring, and then you heard Crystal Palace scoring both goals, and people losing their crap. And I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? I'm darting in and out like a yo-yo, trying to watch my team, make sure we get third, but while I'm trying to watch this commotion going on at the same time. And then obviously I just saw, all I heard was just massive roars afterwards. And what I saw is just like, obviously I saw the replay and I'm like, you're joking. It's on the 95th minute. I thought they won it. Because I just turned away like, oh, for fuck's sake. Alex Ferguson's done it again. He's a twat. He's a twat. And then obviously Aguero scored the goal. And I'm like, hallelujah, there's a Lord. There's a God.
I mean,
And
we-
I just saw. I watched Match of the Day at the end, and I took a picture. I lost the picture since then. I was zoom the camera right in just to take a picture of his face and like, oh, it's beautiful. Just watching him at the stadium, like, we want it. Oh no.
yeah.
It's like have
I
that.
mean, City did the most typical
Not
City
bitter.
thing. Like, yeah, I mean the saying's typical City, and
They did
like,
beat us 8-2 that season, so not that I'm bitter.
but we did
No.
make it as difficult as possible for ourselves. But yeah, it was still lovely. But yeah, I don't think was it Phil Jones? I don't think he covered himself in glory because he'd like taking his shirt off and started like celebrating and stuff before that. Oh crap! Oh wait, a minute.
It's the pink boots, Marcus. The pink
Yeah.
boots.
I've noticed talk's gone a little bit quiet.
Yeah, I know. Well, I can't say much, can I? Because it was. Oh,
Because you know it was true.
it was sickening, mate. It was absolutely like gut
I loved
wrenching.
every minute of it, mate.
Especially because it was
I had
City.
another drink.
It was City. Yeah. Well, anyway, listen. You know what? That's history, mate. That's fucking history. And at the end of the day, we're still number one. Manchester is still red.
I've just clocked, actually. Sorry. So City won the Premier League in 2012. United came second in 2012. Chelsea won the Champions League in 2012. Last season, Chelsea won the Champions League. City came first. United came second.
And oh yes,
I just something I realised.
Yeah, there were some
It's
parallels,
meant to be.
but like was that the year you won FA Cup as well?
Yeah, we did. We didn't win the FA Cup this time because of Leicester.
Can I just ask you, Tom? Right, the thing because the Chelsea arrangement for me. I mean, Tuchel, don't get me wrong, he's a good manager. We know that, and he's done wonders in terms of sort of quickly identifying how he best make use of what you had there as the team. But what happened in the league, mate? What happened in the league? It was shit. You were shite. To be honest, you got saved by Spurs. I mean,
you did get saved by Spurs. I think it's just how young our team is. A lot of the time, there's a lot of inexperience in the squad. To be honest, I mean, I'd say I don't think anyone in our attack, apart from I don't think anyone in our attack had played before Lampard came in, and in the Premier League. I mean, and obviously quite a few of them were young. But I guess Olivier Giroud is the exception there. But then again, he wasn't playing many games. So I think a lot of it was experience, young squad. We were in 3 competitions at the time. I said a lot on the podcast and can back me up here. I said there was a lot of interesting decisions against Arsenal. Rob Holding handballed it from a mount shot going towards the goal. Nothing happened. That definitely happened. I think it happened again 2 games later. I can't remember who against. So
we'll just blame all the decisions and not the way.
No, I'm not saying. I said that's part of it. I haven't said that was the reason. It's part of it. Obviously, it's a lot of factors at the end of the season, and I guess under Lampard, it's just inexperienced manager who had done brilliantly the season before, but yeah, inexperienced manager with quite a few inexperienced players. That's kind of the main thing for their talk.
Sorry, I didn't catch the end of that. Sorry, what did you say?
I was saying it's when it comes down to it with Lampard, and then also at the end of the season was inexperienced manager with an inexperienced players. A lot of new players in the Premier League, a lot of young players in the Premier League.
But he bought. This is the thing. Is I said it when he bought all those players, and I said, "Well, wait a minute. I think Frank Lampard's just bought himself a puzzle here, and if he can't,
I don't think it was necessarily his choice as well."
Well, but the thing for me is with Tuchel is like last season, it was a bit of a kind of free ride for him, to be fair, because he's coming up like halfway through the season. He's got a lot of players there that are not necessarily what he would have picked. So the conversation, I should imagine, would have been, look, I'm going to do my utmost to get this team to get into the top 4. Now, never would have even dreamed of having a conversation with Roman Abramovich around, I can go and win the Champions League. Who the fuck's going to do that? You're not going to say that halfway through a season. You know what I mean? No chance. So it was for me, it all fell into place nicely for Chelsea. But now, in a coming season, do you think he's going to? Do you think he's going to start the season well and just sort of take off? Well, not take off from where you finished last season, because that would be shit, because you were pretty ropey. But I just think that I think it's going to be a bit of a stop-start, at least for the first half for Chelsea in the league.
I think it massively depends on who we get. And I also, on that, I only really want 2 or 3 signings. Obviously, I want a goal scorer. I mean, that's very, very obvious. I think every Chelsea player's wish list this summer is just a pure out and out goal scorer. I quite like Rice because obviously Gilmore's gone on loan, and he's quite a different midfielder to the 3 we have. Obviously Kovacic, Jorginho, and Kante. Well, obviously Kante's defensive, but they're different in kind of how they play in a sense. So I want Rice, and I know there's these rumours about a right wing back. I'm moving James into Azpi's role, but if we don't get a right wing back or a centre back, at the end of the day, I'm also not too fussed. But yeah, no, I think it massively depends on if we get, I guess, Haaland, who apparently we put 150 million bid in last night or this morning, and Rice. So if we get those 2 players and the amount of time Tuchel has with kind of all of the youth players and people coming back from loan to decide, because I think when it comes down to it, Tuchel is kind of quite, this is what I want. If you don't perform at that level I want, or in the way I want you to, then you're not for me. Because at the start, his first game, he started with experience, which is fair enough. And then he kind of realised the specific players. I'm going to obviously use the scapegoat that everyone does. Alonso realised you're really not good enough. Dropped him out, and then I think played him about twice after about 4 games in the Premier League. His first 4 games in the Premier League after that. So I have in Tuchel we trust is, I think, a lot of Chelsea's motives, and I guess I can see where you're coming from, because obviously, I don't know, considering the difference Tuchel's had and the caliber of player he either will have brought in or has as disposal, with a bit more time as well, even though by the time the season starts.
I think
I do have full confidence.
The only reason I say it is because, you know, it's now like you have to do it now. You have to do it. He knows he has to do it, and he knows if halfway through the season he ain't doing it, he knows he's going to be he's gone. I don't see Roman changing it. His the way he does things, you know.
No, but at the same time, I think Tuchel is also expects that of himself. He's now moved to London. He hasn't moved to London yet. He's basically he's already started this week pre-season with players and loanees and youngsters. I think he actually has.
That's one of the things there is when you say that he's already started, and I would expect that simply because I know, as a lot of other football heads will know, that he's got to figure out his best 11 going into this season, and also his best formation. Because I'm convinced, and also would be concerned if I was a Chelsea fan, that if he keeps trying to change it up all the time, you're gonna be in trouble. You're going to be in trouble because you're not going to get consistency. You're not going to get, as we were talking about with England, you know, the players relying on each other and etc. If he keeps tinkering and messing, it's going to be a big problem for him, and it may well turn into a bit of a habit out of pure panic if things are not going his way in terms of the games. If he ain't getting the results, he might start to panic and think, shit, I'm not going to pick you next game now because you were good enough. No, I'm going to pick you this game. And you can get a little bit kind of, that kind of chasing results with changing the squad up all the time. That could be a danger for him. Or do you see him just seeing his pre-season with what he thinks is going to be his starting 11, giving him as much game time as possible in whatever it is you're doing in pre-season, and then saying, right, I'm sticking with this for at least the first sort of 5, 6, 7, 8 games till we get a foothold and I can see where we are.
Well, yeah, I can see where you're coming from completely. And like you said, he should have started by now, and I'm quite glad he has. And obviously, a large majority of his possible starters or should be starters won't be with him until August or very, very late July. So this is kind of the experiment period he has until kind of those players come back. Thiago Silva is obviously Copa America. There's 5 Chelsea players in the final. There's two were knocked out in the semis. So of the Euros, that is. So I'm glad he started now, because this is his period to do that tinkering. And then he's got all of this month to see any possible changes in formation, any possible players that he wants to play and fit into new positions or play in their position of replacing someone else. And then he has, I guess, 15, 16 days after when everyone's back to actually just cement the starting 11 and figure it out what formation he wants. Like, this is his tinkering period now, and I'm very glad he started it now, or a couple of days ago.
Yeah, because I think Pep has got the edge on Tuchel in terms of the ability to swap things around, only because Pep's got experience of doing it. I don't know. I mean, I've not followed Tuchel too much before he came to Chelsea, but Pep, we know, he's great at doing that. He did overthink it in the Champions League, no doubt about that. But that's another story. But you know what? I mean, I don't know. I just think it's going to be a difficult start to the season for him, and I think if he does not get those ingredients right at the start, you can always add salt, but you can't take salt out. And I think if he gets that bit wrong, I think it's going to be an uphill battle for him. And again, because of the pressure that he will be under, it could be a problem, because you've not only got like Liverpool, who are going to come back, in my opinion, like when they won the league, they're going to come back and start the season with a bang. I believe Manchester City are going to do what Manchester City do. They're going to be a real pain in the ass and noisy neighbours, right? Man United, yeah, well, that's another story. Leeds United are going to be a pain in the ass for the big six, so-called big six, because I think Leeds, if they spend a few bob, get a couple of players here and there, they are, because they were only one win and a draw away, I think it was, last season, and getting in the top 6.
Yeah.
And I think because of the way he plays, Bielsa, and the top manager that he is, he plays that 4-1-4-1, 3-3-1-3, whatever you want to call it. He's and he ain't going to change that, and we know that. He's never going to change Bielsa, never. Pep, I think that's where Pep gets a lot of his stuff from, is from Bielsa. It's like, no, you find something that you like doing and you want to stick with it. You stick with it. You got to trust it and go with it. And there's a lot of other teams as well that I could mention that are going to be a problem for the so-called top 6 next season. Also, the fact that the fans are going to be back. But one thing I will say to you is it's going to be an absolutely fantastic season. And if you get Haaland and Declan Rice, then I may have to reassess my way I look at Chelsea, how Thomas Tuchel starts it, because if he got those 2 assets in that team, I think a lot of his problems are solved, to be fair. I really do, because he doesn't need to concern himself about who's going to put the ball in the net or who's going to be the workhorse and the ball carrier, so to speak, in the midfield. That's all sorted. It's then just down to he's looking at his defenders and UI players, etc. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
And,
And I mean, we've got loads of them. So
yes, exactly. And the thing is, but do you really see it happening though? That's a big thing to happen. Is Haaland and Declan Rice. You're talking what 150 for Haaland and what 80 for Declan ish. I mean,
if any club's going to do it.
oh yeah,
be-
Chelsea will do it.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's,
but
that's,
Roman-
that's my hope.
If Roman is convinced himself when he's sat there playing FIFA, if he's sat there playing FIFA and he goes and buys like what's his name again, Haaland and Declan Rice, and he's like, yeah, and he goes and wins the Champions League with FIFA, right? Or his son does it. Because let's have it right. This is what we're talking about here. These kind of people like Roman Abramovich, money is no object whatsoever. It makes no difference. If he goes and says, right, I'm giving you 400 million quid here, go and spend it on some players. That's like me saying to my son, yeah, I'm giving you £4, go out of the shop, get yourself some chocolate and that, and some sweets. I ain't going to miss it. I'm not going to miss it. And that's the case. Same with City's owners. City's owners could actually even go one further and say, yeah, there's £1 billion. Go and squander it. And then go, oh, wait a minute. We got that from the back of the couch. If you really want to see how much money we've got, you know what I mean? You'd have to like find a small country for us to put it all in. Because it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And again, I never use that in any argument against Man City or Chelsea when it comes to bantering that teams from like my viewpoint on Man United, because money for me doesn't buy you anything. You still have to have great management, as is proven with Chelsea. Look how many managers you've gone through to get. It's true though, isn't it? Let's have it right.
Massively.
And also with Pep, it's not. Pep is a genius. He's best manager in the world, in my opinion. Still, right now, he's the best manager in the world. Tell me who's above Pep right now. There isn't anybody.
Nah.
There isn't. And Tuchel, that's a debate. That's a debate in itself. Is how Tuchel managed to get the better of Pep 3 times. Was it 3 or 4?
3. It was every time Tuchel faced him at when he was Chelsea manager, but also Tuchel and Pep used to face each other in the Bundesliga, and Tuchel was part of that Dortmund team that really, really challenged Bayern for the title when Pep was in charge. So I think next season's kind of, I guess, like last season, no one really knows what's going to happen yet. So we've got a lot to look forward to.
It is going to be a really, really great season, and I'm so looking forward to it. I don't think it's going to be, unless we get the players that we really, really need and we want. I'm kind of reserved to the sort of notion that, look, I think it's going to be. I think we're going to we will get top 4. I think, and if we can win a cup of some description, happy days. Because we're still a work in progress whilst we've got that coaching staff in. I don't think the problem is Ollie, particularly because he's not the coach. He doesn't do the training. He's looking after the welfare of the players and keeping the players happy and on side, and the mental aspect of the game, the attitude, etc. It's out of the coaches to get the best out of them. He's passing this information on to the coaches. I want this team playing this system 4-2-3-1. You get them at it, and for me, they ain't doing it. The coaches. So that's why I can only suggest that I will look forward to getting in top 4 again and a trophy. And you know what? It is going to be between, really, in my opinion, that's put money on it, City and Liverpool. Because I don't yet know with Chelsea, because he's not. He came in halfway through the season, let a load of players that weren't his signings. He did well in getting them to do a simple task of, keeping things simple. That's what you do. So Chelsea did that very well. You don't pull up any trees in terms of tactics. Let's have that right. It's all quite simple, which is again great. If it gets you results and it wins the game, do it. You know what I mean? Do it. It's because at the end of the day, football is a simple game, and you try and overcomplicate it, it can bite you on the ass. So I'm going to hold judgment on Chelsea at this moment in terms of where they're going to be next season until I see them at least their first sort of, I don't know, 5 to 8 games and see what the results are performance-wise and what Tuchel does, if he sticks with players and formation or does he keep messing and tinkering. Because like I said, if you win, say, the first game, maybe the second game, and then the third game you draw, then he goes, oh, all right, I'm dropping you. No, I'm going to bring you in, and you in. Then you go into the next game and you draw again. And then he's like, what's going on here? And then he goes, all right, I'm going to revert back to where I was in the other game where we drew, try and push on and get the victory. And then it doesn't quite happen, or you even get beat. You know what I mean? It's going to be an interesting thing, and I'm looking forward to watching it, that's for sure.
Stephen, you got one last thing to say?
I ain't looking forward to this season at all. This guy could buy anyone he wants. He ain't doing nothing. I'm sorry. Right. I was wrong about Southgate. I'm not wrong about Arteta. Simple as that. Southgate is miles better than Arteta. That's a fact. Southgate actually knows what he's doing. I mean, we're trying to go in third time for Ben White. I thought that deal was done. It doesn't look like it's done. If we're not being serious, then just don't bother. If you're not gonna just go in there and pay the money, just do it. We know there's a tax on it, so we know it's gonna be 50 million quid. Just pay it. Stop fucking around. I ain't got time for this, and I'm fed up with it. I hear it all the time. It's the same shit again and again and again. People being picky about, I don't want Renato Sanchez. I don't want Andre Silva. Well, if these players want offer to you, you wouldn't bite your hand off, right? These players are Champions League players or Europa League even, and we need players that will get us into Europe, right? But some people are like, well, either I'm getting told, I'm lowering my standards because I don't want the top players. We're not going to get the top players. We need players that get us into Europe because these players won't. So, or you're getting told that no, we can't buy those players. You need to go be buying the big players. And I'm like, you can't. Not with no European football. And a manager who could pull his own misses. He couldn't pull his own misses. He has got the attraction, right? He's got the attraction of a deactivated magnet. Right?
I think that's quite harsh on Arteta.
Who wants to play for him? No one's coming.
I think that's more of an Arsenal thing, though.
He's had 3 attempts to try and get Ben White, and he still ain't done it. Basuma's gone, nah, you're all right. Jack Grealish would never have come to us, right? Because you've got Buendia sitting there, who's probably like the Championship version of Grealish at the minute. And he's looked at that and he's gone, yeah, I know he's going to Man City, but he's looked at Arsenal, who are saying, we want you. And he's looked at you, Arteta, yeah, right, okay. He'd rather go to D. Smith at Aston Villa rather than go to Arsenal with Arteta. What does that tell you? It can't be Arsenal with its name and it's supposed to be the third biggest club in the country. It's got to be the manager. There's a reason why he doesn't want to go. He doesn't want to play for this manager. The manager's not good enough. Everyone on this planet, apart from Arteta fans, are sitting here saying, this guy is not good enough for you. It's like, we know your missus just cheated on you, but you're still sleeping with them. You're just doing it for the kids. Right? When are you going to wake up and realise she don't love you? Right? Move on. Get rid. Divorce. Right? Set it out of court. Right?
Well, is it not Arsenal making the doing the deals?
And you're saying Arteta doesn't get a say in it. And what's he doing then? He's saying Guendouzi, because I've got an agenda, who could actually work in our midfield. He's actually probably something that's missing next to Partey, right? And could probably be a good DM with Partey there. No, I've got an agenda against you. Go to Marseille. Don't want you, right? Saliba judged him after 2.5 games. 2.5 games. And we were all told by Inter fans, don't worry, he'll be back the end of the year. He'll give him a chance then. He's now sent him back on loan with Marseille, with Guendouzi. So that probably means we'll never see Saliba play for Arsenal. Ever. Ever. We've just lost what was supposed to be better. We were supposed to get the better deal out of Leicester, right, when they got Fofana. We were supposed to get the better one. We can't even tell. The guy's playing every week for Leicester. We're sitting here playing. Go to Marseille. Go to Nice. Go here. Go there. Go every fucking where. Right? We don't basically want you. Why don't you just tell him we don't want you? Go back to Sinetti and stay there. We shouldn't have bothered. I can't believe you've got a perfect. He's saying I can't spend more than or the club is saying, with him saying, because he's a yes man, so he'll say anything to keep his job, because he knows if Kroenke goes, his job's screwed, right? So he'll say anything to stay in the job. So he'll just go, yeah, okay, yes, sir, whatever, sir, I'll do what he says, sir. So if they say, I want to sell as much, I'm only going to buy as much as we sell, he is going to say, I'm only going to buy as much as we sell. So if that's the case, then why you're letting the club, letting one of your top youngest defenders, who you could use next season quite easily, because he's better than half the crap we've got, and you're letting him piss off all the way to Marseille, right? And at the same time, the amount of youngsters that have been let go, undisclosed fees, they've never got a hint. 5 years later, you find them playing for Southampton, scoring a goal against us. Right, in a 3-0 smashing. Because they never got a look in.
But if that's 3 years ago, that's not Arteta, that's Arsenal.
And you're saying Arteta doesn't get a decision over, like, you're saying...
I'm not saying it doesn't get a decision, but I'm saying if it's happening before,
this guy
5 years ago...
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the players he's letting go in now, he could have quite easily have said, no, hang on a minute. I want to look at him, right? Or might need him, because I'm not going to be able to buy much at the minute. So I might have to rely on the youth. He did last season. How many times did he have to get Saka to bail him out? And Martinelli, well, whenever he put him on, that is. Don't forget the agenda there, right? If Martinelli gets another season like that, he's gone. He won't stand for that. He'll go. And I'll tell him to go. Because you're destroying a player's career. That's what you're doing. Tell me a player he's bought through Hale End. One player. Can you give me one player that he has bought through Hale End?
Can you name one player in the last 4 years, though?
He has bought, since he's been in charge, he has bought nil point. No players from the youth setup. What does that tell you?
Well, that's where Saka and Smith Rowe have come through.
They were Emery.
Emery, yeah.
Oh, there. Okay.
All of it was Emery. Martinelli was Emery. He was getting more time with them. He got player of the month after scoring your lot, drawing 2-2, right? Running all the way down the pitch and looking like he is the business, right? Because it takes a lot of player to do that at Stamford Bridge, right? Against your rivals. It takes a lot of composure and everything. He really took that like he did make it was easy. And then we don't see him again. Ever. That was his reward for player of the month.
I love it when Stephen goes on one about Arsenal. It's so insane.
This is why I love talking about England. I don't want it to stop. I don't want it to stop.
Well, to be fair, Stephen, I think we do have to wrap things up for
Yeah, because I've got
very shortly.
to head to another stream as well. So,
But
listen, mate, thanks for having me on, mate. I really enjoyed that.
yeah,
First
I
time on
really
the show.
enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
I'd love to come on again at some point if you need any from Man
sure,
United or whatever. Just let us know, mate. I'll jump at the chance, mate.
Cool.
Brilliant, mate. Absolutely. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Talk, for coming on. Hope you guys, obviously, as you said, you enjoyed it, which is always a pleasant thing to hear.
Mm.
Everyone watching, please do like the video. It helps us out massively with the whole YouTube algorithm. And apparently, I've heard that long form content isn't what YouTube like anymore, which is brilliant for podcasters. But subscribe if you're new around here. Stephen, Talk, and Agenda, all their links will be in the description, and Twitter, whatever. So do check them out. Been a fantastic chat. Football's coming home, and I believe there'll be a golden show with Ben as a guest coming out tomorrow, 6 p.m. as well. So do check that out. I'm sure that's going to be very interesting. Goodbye.
Yes. There you go.